Your Excellency, thank you for welcoming us and for accepting Orbeli Center invitation. And with your permission, let us begin with the questions. Mr. Ambassador, in one of your recent interviews, you have mentioned that Armenia-Georgia relations have reached their historical peak. What key developments or realities have contributed to such a strong assessment? Please.
Thank you for your question. It's really $1 million question, but I would start probably with a strategic partnership that we reached this agreement finally a year ago, and that was a highlight of this year. And after that, I believe that we strengthen our cooperation in different directions, including economical cooperation, political dialogue, intensification of this dialogue, in cultural and educational spheres, in youth affairs. So in each and every component we have quite a significant progress to compare with years that passed.
Georgia has consistently taken the lead in regional peace initiatives. Recently, there has been growing attention to the Peaceful Caucasus concept. Could you please elaborate on this initiative and what it proposes to regional states?
Georgia is interested in stability, long-lasting peace, and in strengthening economic ties and opening connectivity in our region for obvious reasons, because we need stability, we need peace in Caucasus, and that's something that we'll pay special attention to. In this particular case, quite a number of initiatives were put on the table to discuss with our partners. Recently we had a meeting of deputy ministers of foreign affairs of Azerbaijan, Armenia and Georgia in Tbilisi. I would like to continue this attempt and try to also discuss opportunities where we can start a cooperation, what field will be interested for our partnership, and it's very delicate but very needy for all parties involved. And I believe that we will achieve results pretty soon.
Armenia, on the other hand, also introduced its own vision for regional stability through the Crossroad of Peace initiative. In your view, what steps should South Caucasus countries take to achieve lasting peace, stability in the context of regional conflict resolution?
We'll start probably with economical connections and ties with trade. Opening connectivity is something that I already mentioned is of high importance for our countries, and I believe that every initiative that is discussed is very interesting, because we're talking about East-West, about South-North corridors, about Middle Corridor, and it's something that should be discussed in more details. But clearly, that's the way out. We need long-lasting peace, because sustainable development depends on that.
It has been a year since Armenia and Georgia signing of the Armenian-Georgian Strategic Partnership Agreement. How would you evaluate the progress so far, and which areas have seen the most success, and which ones hold untapped potential for new cooperation?
First of all, it's a political connections on highest level. At least twice a year, prime ministers are visiting our countries, and that gives a stimulus to our ministries, to our state agencies, to our not only state agencies but also for non-state sector to work and cooperate closer in every direction. Also, we're having a wonderful mechanism of economical cooperation, which is an intergovernmental council. And that's something that we're using a lot. Once a year, we're having a gathering on the highest possible level in both countries. And also, it's a political dialogue between the ministries of foreign affairs. This time, Yerevan will host very soon the next round of this political discussions. Also, we're having quite a lot in cultural affairs, and that's something that we should mention, because for many centuries Georgia and Armenia were really in a very unique position, and I can't really name the neighboring countries worldwide that lived for thousands of years together and had no profound conflicts for many years. That's something we can really enjoy. Our history is our past, our common past, but it's also our future, and we have to draw lessons from our past and also to look into the future. And in this that intensification in youth affairs, in education, that's very encouraging, because youth dialogue is already in place. The third round was in Armenia recently, a couple of weeks ago, attended by Minister of Education, Sports, Youth and Science of Armenia, and Deputy Minister from Georgia will host Armenian youth in Anaglia camp in a couple of weeks, and that's something that gives us a possibility to establish dialogue on and debate among students and youth representatives. In culture, I believe that we're on the highest peak of our cooperation, because recently we had Days of Georgian Culture in Yerevan, hosted by Armenian side. We will host the same like event in Georgia, the Days of Armenian Culture in Georgia in 26, and that's also an opportunity to present culture, to have exhibitions, to have exchanges, to have discussions, and that's people-to-people connections that are very valued from our side. And business-to-business cooperation is also worth mentioning. We had a very interesting economic forum on the 6th of May in Yerevan, where quite a number of prominent business representatives from Georgia and Armenia discussed the ways of future cooperation. Not only that, but we had also in Tilijan this year another opportunity to have a tourist companies meeting, and that's quite a number of companies from Georgia and Armenia that are working on joint proposals for future clientele, and that's also very interesting, because more than 30 tourist agencies are providing a joint agenda for foreign guests to visit region. So it's very encouraging, and we're very optimistic about the future of our cooperation. Not to mention tourism as such, because almost 1 million Armenians are visiting Georgia, and number of Georgians visiting Armenia increased drastically.
Great to hear it. And coming to economic cooperation, we would like to listen your views about economic cooperation and bilateral trade. Trade are considered the most advanced area in Armenian-Georgian relations, having surpassed 1 billion threshold. What realistic next steps or goals do you see for both countries, especially in the light of regional and global challenges?
First of all, I would like to mention that quite a number of big infrastructural projects are started in both countries, in Georgia and Armenia, and that matters because we have to improve road infrastructure. Connectivity needs a lot of things to be done and to put into the place, so it's connected with financing of these activities, and we're really grateful to our international partners that helped us to establish modern infrastructure in our country. We're working also on connectivity in energy sector, which is also very important, because we're paying a special attention to renewable energy, green energy, and that's something that we're working on. So it's a lot of opportunities that we're having, and this trade that is ongoing and is increasing, and it's very encouraging as well. So I hope that in future we'll have more joint projects, and that will boost our cooperation even better.
Okay, and you mentioned also about infrastructure, and my next question is about this, and mainly in Georgia. Georgia is actively developing its east-west and north-south highways. The European Bank has supported extensions of the east-west highway toward the borders with Armenia and Azerbaijan. What is the current status of Algeti-Sadakhlo section?
Namely, on Algeti-Sadakhlo, we're having now a round of tenders announced already to develop this particular piece of huge project, which is connecting the borders of Georgia. Also, we're having another direction, which is Lars direction, and there we have very intensive work because it's a very difficult landscape. It's a mountainous area in Kazbek region.
Mr. Ambassador, you have mentioned about North and South Highway. My next question is about that. Another key project in Georgia is Kvashati-Kobe section, which holds strategic importance not only for Georgia but also for Armenia. Could you please share the current status of this project? And initial reports mentioned that completion was expected by the end of the last year. So what's the current status of this project?
Currently on this particular part, the drills of the main tunnel are already finished, and that's the main part of this road. And back to Sadakhlo Algeti part, it will be ready by 2026 again. Yes, it's very, as I already mentioned, it's a very difficult task, but that we're undertaking a lot of tunnels, a lot of bridges, and that's probably the biggest infrastructural project in all region. But we're moving slowly but steadily, and I believe that we'll achieve our goals pretty soon. And you can see the fruits and results of this particular project.
Yeah. And in the beginning of our interview, you have also mentioned about Georgian Days in Armenia. I want to ask about this event also. Georgia Days of Culture were held in Armenia with great public enthusiasm, and the Armenian public has always shown a warm appreciation of Georgian culture, music, and the dance. In your view, how can such cultural events contribute to deeper mutual understanding, and what else should be done in both societies to better understand each other and not to harm?
I believe that everything that can be done as in culture will promote our mutual understanding and our all the time we're saying that we're neighbors, we're friends, we're brothers, and that's true. We have quite a lot of things in common, and that's what we should really cherish. In this particular case, one was talking about days of culture here and there. It was quite a nice tradition many years ago, but it was forgotten. And so we started from zero ground, and our suggestion was to create a platform where we can present not only traditional dances and singing, but also to have opportunity to present wineries, special events for youth. We had quite a number of activities planned in Yerevan, and was really received with great enthusiasm. We had a highlight of this particular event was the concert of Evi Sioni, I believe, in Karin Demikcan's center, and that was quite impressive show, I would say. Also, the days of Georgian wine that we presented more than, I believe it was around 15 producers from Georgia, presenting their own wines done in traditional Georgian way in Kvevri, and that was also very interesting because it was accompanied with music, with street food presentation, and that was something that probably a lot of Yerevan citizens will remember for a long time. And also we had an opening part in the premises of our embassy. We had reception. It coincided almost with our Independence Day, and a number of very prominent Georgian musicians traveled to Yerevan. And this is something that we should pay special attention to. But it's not only about 1 week or 3 days of intensive cultural exchanges, because almost every month we're having a happening, and big happening, either in Tbilisi or in Yerevan. Is wonderful, because we have quite a number of things in common, and we have to really share a lot. And also, when we're talking about the future cultural days in Tbilisi, in Georgia, I believe that we'll have opportunity to present a traditional but also the modern phase of Armenia. That's something that is of high interest. I was talking about growing number of Georgian tourists coming to Armenia, and that's very reassuring. And first of all, I would like to mention a very interesting part of tourism which is growing, is a gastronomical tourism from Georgia, and that's also one part of it. But we have a lot of things in common, and we have a lot of things to learn from each other, and that's very important not to forget.
Yeah, of course. And Your Excellency, like it's on a more personal note, what would you enjoy most about being in Armenia, and what would you recommend to a Georgian tourist visiting Armenia for the first time?
Another $1 million question. It's a lot of cultural side things. It's a wonderful food, and I would recommend also Armenian cognac, of course.
Of course. That's it.
Well, I believe that I would start with really with cultural highlights in Armenia. It's a lot to see, and for somebody who is coming from Tbilisi, of course, I would recommend to visit museums and historical museum, art gallery, it's Parajanos Museum, a lot of things to be seen in Yerevan. And also enjoy food, of course, because it's a part of culture as well, and a very important part of culture. We shouldn't forget about it. It's a lot of very interesting places in Yerevan to be visited, and they have to explore a little bit more the highlights in Yerevan, clubbing in Yerevan as well, jazz clubs. So yeah, a lot of things.
Especially for youths. Yeah.
For youth, and not only for youth, but jazz clubs are not really for youth. But I would recommend to my generation to go to Malkhaz and to Mezzo, and youngsters to visit other places. There are a lot of things to be really seen.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for your engaging, informative conversation.